Hi, I'm Rick Belt, the TheEVMicGuy. Thanks for watching. Reading through our viewer mail, I came across this one from Greg in Chicago, Illinois. Greg writes, "Hey Rick, I'm the house sound guy at a club here in Chicago. The other night a sax player showed up with an EV-RE2 wireless and the RE920 clipped to his sax, and it sounded great. Sometimes I like to use small condensers like it on drums, and I wonder how the RE920 does on drums. What do you think?" That's a great question, Greg, and thanks so much for asking. I'm also glad to hear that you like the way it sounded on sax. One of the many virtues of the RE920 is that it's a fantastic solution for miking drums and percussion when you're looking for the added snap and articulation that a condenser can give to close miking drums. The RE920's clip-on gooseneck is really easy to mount and has a very effective integrated shock mount to eliminate vibrations. In order to interface it with your system's mic jacks, you'll need to use the optional TXA inline preamp. The TXA is a really handy device. It's phantom powered from your console to power its preamp. It has an engageable high-pass filter centered at 100 Hz and a selectable attenuation pad of 10 dB. Since you're close miking drums, you'll probably want to take advantage of the 10 dB padding. I'd like to get this tom-tom here in front of me so I can show you how easy it is to attach to a drum. The RE920 attaches to your instrument via this very effective clothespin type clip. The gooseneck itself is on a ratchet for positioning, and there's also a very effective shock mount at the end to prevent any kind of vibration. You could clip it to the top of the drum rim like this, but I prefer to clip it to the tension rod, which holds it very securely, and I have a whole lot of positioning options. So let's head over to the drum kit and give them a good listen. So I'm ready to get started, but before I get underway, there are a few things I'd like to mention. The first is that all the mics are brought into a small console, and the EQ on all the channels are set flat, so there's no additional EQing going on. Secondly, all the drums, I like to use these zero rings, which cut down a little bit on the ring without dampening the drum too much, so all the drums have zero rings on them. The third thing I'd like to mention, since we're going to be hearing full kit from time to time, is that in order to make it a true RE day, I'm using the RE200 small diaphragm condenser on my hi-hat and overheads. And the last thing I'd like to mention is that because I'm going to be muting and unmuting mics, you're going to see me reach to the console and mute something and open up a channel, and that's so that I can successfully pull off this demo. So I'm going to get started with the snare drum first. I've got the RE920 clipped to a tension rod on my snare drum, and the capsule is about an inch directly over the rim, aiming at the center of the head where the stick impacts the drum head. So I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit and give you an idea how it sounds. Okay, so now I'd like to play a beat, and the 920 will be in solo so that you only hear it, but to play a beat with the full kit, you'll hear how much isolation the 920 has. So I'll get started. So that's the RE920 on the snare drum. I'm going to move on to the first rack tom next. So we'll do the first rack tom next. This is a 13-inch tom, and just so you know, I use clear emperors on the top and clear ambassadors on the bottom, which is my favorite head combination. And of course I use the zero ring on here to cut down on the ring. So let me give you an idea what this one sounds like. Okay, so now I'd like to play a beat in full kit and just give you an idea what this mic sounds like in solo. So all you're going to hear is the mic in solo, but I'll play full kit and some fills so you can hear the isolation. Okay, so that's the RE920 on a 13-inch rack tom. I'm going to move on to the 14 next. So now we're going to do the second rack tom. It's a 14-inch. I've got the RE920 clipped to a tension rod, and the capsule is about an inch over the drum rim, aiming in toward the center of the head where the stick meets the drum head. And this is the same position as I had over here on the 13, by the way. So let me give you an idea what it sounds like. Okay, so that's up close. Now the next thing I'd like to do is play full kit just like I did on the 13. I'll play some beats and some fills and give you an idea what the mic sounds like in solo. So that's all you're going to be hearing. Okay, so that's the RE920 on a 14-inch rack tom. Now I'm going to move on to the floor tom. Okay, so now we're going to do the 16-inch floor tom. The RE920 is clipped to a tension rod just like the other drums. The capsule is about an inch over the head, but unlike the other two toms, I've got it in toward the center of the head about an inch, and it's aiming at the middle of the head where the stick hits for attack. So let me give you an idea what that sounds like. Okay, so like on the rest of the tom-toms, I want to play a little full kit, beats and fills, and give you an idea what the mic sounds like in solo. So let me get that happening. Okay, so there you go. That's the 16-inch floor tom with the RE920 on it. Okay, so the next deal I'd like to do is open up all the mics and then go from one drum to the other so you can hear the tone of the drum in comparison to see how the 920s work together on a full kit. So let me get that happening. Okay, so that's each individual mic opened up and comparing how the tone of each drum works with the rest of the drum kit. There's one more I'd like to do and I'll be right back. So the last little bit I'd like to do is open up all of the mics and give you an idea what the entire rig sounds like. That includes the hi-hat, overhead, and kick. I forgot to mention earlier that the RE320 is in the kick drum. I've got it pushed in the hole about 1.5 inches, and the kick drum position is selected on the filter. There's no additional EQing on the board. It's just flat coming out of the mic that way. So what you'll be hearing is the RE200 on hat and overheads, RE320 in the kick drum, RE920s on the snare and 3 tom-toms. So let me go ahead and play a little bit for you and give you an idea what the full kit sounds like. Okay, so that's the RE920 on snare drum and tom-toms. It's very easy to position, small diaphragm condenser. It's great for tom-toms. So there you go. The RE920 is an outstanding solution when you want the sound of a condenser on drums. Just remember you'll need to use the TXA inline preamp to interface it with your system cabling. Thanks again for your question. So that's it for this show, folks. Thanks for watching. This is Rick Bell, the EV Mic Guy. See you next time.